see you joined us. All right, we're almost ready here. Well, we should be ready. It's 3 o'clock. So, Carson, did Dirk make it okay? Is he on his way in? Well, thank you for being here today, everybody. We appreciate this. It's our time to get together, to catch up, and hopefully leave you with a little bit of a motivational thought, because you know what? We're doing really well for the third month in a row. Our retention number is our annual retention TTM number is 73%. That's about 2.5% better than the ground campuses at Vista, and that's for an online school. So we have made such a huge, just monumental leaps in our retention. Remember, not too long ago, we were hanging sometimes in the low 50, 52, 53. So, that's how far we've come. And that's a big deal. And I attribute that to student services and to academics, the faculty, and all that we've all been involved in to make sure that we have graduates from the institution. And so thank you for that. Today, what I thought we would do, take it a little bit different, in that I think it might be helpful to review who does what and to introduce you to some of the staff and the administration. And I know you know them, but every once in a while it's good to just have them all recap what they do and why they do what they do. So we're gonna do a little bit different agenda today. I hope that's okay with you. First of all, we have some brand new faculty. Brittany Williams, are you on the call by chance? Brittany, are you there? She's just joining us, so she might not know about it. Ashley Robinson.
Should have turned that up.
Ashley, are you here?
I am. I'm here. Hello.
Well, welcome to the team. You can see all the faces, right? You can see some of the faces, maybe. And
yes, I'm doing it from my phone. So yeah, I see some of you guys.
Well, it's great, and it's so great that we have the technology that we can do it anywhere from anywhere. So, Ashley, why don't you introduce yourself to the rest of the academic team? Tell us a little bit about what you do, what you're going to teach, your hobbies, whatever, just so we get to know you.
Absolutely. So I have dogs following me around my house, so I apologize if you hear them behind me. I'm currently teaching medical terminology. I have a background in healthcare. I've worked in several different hospitals. The biggest thing I did in my professional career working in healthcare, I worked with a 3-hospital healthcare system, and I helped to completely convert them from paper records to electronic health records. So that was pretty interesting, training the physicians, working in the EHR, all that kind of stuff. I do have a little girl, so she takes up a lot of my time. I'm currently also back in school myself to get my doctorate in public health. And we just found out we were moving, so we're doing a whole bunch of things here in my personal life. But my experience so far at Vista has been amazing, so I'm really glad to be a part of the team.
Well, we're glad to have you. And where are you moving to?
We are actually moving to New York City, so it's going to be a great, big, huge change.
Wow. Yeah, that's a big change, that's for sure.
Yes, very big.
Well, we're sure glad to have you on the team. Thanks, Ashley, for being.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And Dennis, I see that you're on the call. Why don't you take the time to introduce yourself and welcome.
Yes. My name is Dennis Onolaja. I live in Dallas, Texas. I taught for about 8 years for the University of Phoenix, both on campus and online. And I primarily taught accounting, finance, capstone classes or courses. I'm currently teaching principle of business finance this term here. I'm really glad to be here my background is in finance and operation and a little bit of capital budgeting and investment. So I'm looking to leverage my experience in class, and I've enjoyed. We're in week 4 right now, and the students are great. They a lot of fun teaching this course.
Well, thank you, Dennis. And you know what? We're a better place to teach than the University of Phoenix for whatever it's worth. Okay, so we give you a little bit more academic freedom. Hey, what's your hobby?
I play soccer, but I'm kind of too old to do that now. So I'm basically I love to read, nonfiction primarily, if I have time.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining the team. We're glad to have you. You can Vista College Online continues to grow, and we really do. And the good news is not only are we growing from a student body and from new enrollment, but we're also graduating more students, and that's just what makes us happy. Dr. Reeder, would you go ahead and do the AR award? And I'm going to stop sharing so that Carson can have control. Go ahead, Dr. Reeder.
Okay, hi. We wanted to introduce our AR award winner this term, Angela Heyman. She just is really focused and compassionate about her students, and she really takes the time to get to know students and how she can help them, and she's just involved and engaged in the classroom, and we're grateful to have her. So congratulations, Angela.
Angela, where are you? Got to see you. Got to find you. I know you're here. There's the award, Angela.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Now, Angela, tell everybody what you do professionally, and then
well, professionally, I'm a teacher right now. I teach for you guys plus 2 other universities. So,
aren't you also a CPA?
I am a CPA.
That's so awesome. Well, and you teach some of the harder classes. We had a discussion yesterday about statistics for one of the business courses coming up, and we're just so glad to have you, and thank you for making it so our students can understand quantitative things. It's usually not so easy for some of our students. Would you agree with that, Angela?
I do. Thank you, though.
We're just really proud of you. Thank you for being here. All right, Sherry, you're up. Do you want to take your topic on? Go ahead.
I will. I won't take very long of your time. I just wanted to make sure that you guys understood that one of the things we're doing is we're moving to passionate subject matter experts. We're looking for people who are passionate about what they teach. That means that sometimes there may not be a class in your area that's offered that month, and that's okay, because we're going to put the best person in the class for each month. Excuse me. Someone's phone was making a weird noise. We're going to look to hire some more teachers in some areas. One of the things that happened was, and Sarah's the expert on this subject, but
you got somebody's mic on.
Yeah, someone is really. Okay, I knew it wasn't me. I got muted too, though. Okay, so one of the things we're looking for is we had an accreditation visit, and we need to make sure that all of our teachers have meet the qualifications to teach as well. And so we had some teachers teaching classes that originally met the qualifications, but as we expand to other states, Arkansas, those may change. So you may find that there's some classes that you may not be qualified for anymore. The general ed classes are requiring 18 master's level credits in your subject in your degree. If you have any questions, you're welcome to ask me. And like I said, Sarah's the expert, but she's talked me through all the rules. And so just keep in mind, just because you don't have a class 1 session, it's not a personal thing. I mean, you'll know if it's an issue with your teaching, but it's not a personal thing. It is, we're just making sure that we have the best person in each subject, and we do not run every subject every month. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, good. And I like the way he put effective student contact on here because that's my favorite subject. And so I'll just tell you, early, often, contact students whenever you get the opportunity. You can contact them from your car, from your phone, from any way you find. Some of the teachers are using the Remind app. I haven't used it, but I understand it's working for some. Make sure that you contact those students even when they're, and Larry will talk about this a little more, but even when they're doing well, and make sure you keep track of it so we can give you credit for it. Anything else, Larry, that you want me to cover?
No.
Okay.
Any questions on passion subject matter experts? You know, it's really important that we, you know, if you're teaching an HR class, you probably ought to be have a little experience in HR, and that's what we're moving to. We didn't do that so well in the past, but now we do. So that's what we're doing. Thanks, Sherry, for that. Carson, you want to take over? Are you there, Carson? Carson, you muted yourself and you probably forgot. Carson, where did he go? Carson, can you hear? Hey, Carson. Hey, Carson. Dan, can you hear me okay? Yeah, you can hear me. All right. Carson, can you hear? I don't know where he's at. He's Carson.
He's I can see him on the video. It looked like he was talking to somebody else. I don't know if he's got his headset in or not.
All right. Let's just go on. We'll come back. I'm not sure where he is. Thanks. And there I think he's coming. Carson? Carson? You're up, Carson.
You okay?
Yeah, now we can move into it and you're up. Go ahead.
Okay, there we go. Hey guys, sorry about that. Too many things going on at once, apparently. Hey, my name is Carson Young, so I'm the LMS administrator. So anything that has to do with Canvas, ebooks, any of the technology within Canvas that we use, I can definitely help with that, both for yourselves and for your learners. So if they have any types of questions or issues at all, they can feel free to send them to me. They're more than welcome to call me. I purposely have my cell phone number on my email signature, so that they can call me directly. So if they want to call me rather than email, that's fine. If we can take care of the situation sooner than that, that's fantastic. As far as setting up Zoom tutoring and office hours, there are specified Zoom accounts for each program. All of the logins for those accounts are actually in the Instructor Resource Center found inside of Canvas. When you go to your dashboard, if you do not see an Instructor Resource Center course, please let me know and I can add you because all the login information is there. And then there's a video that goes with it as well as any of the login information. And if you'd like, I'm more than happy to jump on the phone with you and show you how that works as well. So just keep me posted. I'm happy to help and available at any time for you guys.
Any questions for Carson? You know,
I have a quick question that may not be directly related. I noticed that when I have to do a password change this morning for the network because I got an email. But it looks like it's not applicable to Canvas. Is that a different system or?
Yeah, that's a good question, Dennis. So as far as, and I should have made this distinction a little earlier. If it is institutional email related, or if you're trying to get into, let's say, Campus View, maybe to post grades or anything like that. Unfortunately, we don't have any power in those systems on our end. And so we have to send those through an IT ticket to or corporate team, and they take care of those things. But to answer your question, your institutional email address we can make it your default for Canvas. I can show you how to do that. It's very simple, so that everything does mesh. We can do that if you'd like.
Yeah, I have it. I just remember my Canvas password, and so you can. Again, Carson, we appreciate you and all that you do. I mean, you're available pretty much 24/7. You usually respond, and I don't know how you do it some days, but we appreciate all that you do. So if you have Canvas issues, LMS issues, questions, never hesitate to reach out. He'll respond to you as quick as he can. Carson is one of he's just pretty darned amazing, and I don't want to give him a big head, but he really is. And then on Zoom, definitely use it. Use it to tutor and make that connection with your students. If there is an account there, it's useful. It's really easy to learn how to use. Don't hesitate to go in and set up a tutoring session or an office session or whatever you want to do. More and more courses we're actually setting up to where you have a conference session in the middle of the course. So, get to know it. Get to know it. It's pretty intuitive, pretty easy. Any other questions for Carson? Anybody?
Carson, what are the best hours for students to get a hold of you?
That's a tricky question. It doesn't matter. I would say before 11 p.m. Mountain Time and after 8 a.m. in the morning Mountain Time.
I just wondered if you had a preference.
So, something like that. I mean, office hours are great, but if they want to even text me, I typically respond faster to text messages when it's later in the evening.
All right. Well, thank you, Carson. Really appreciate it.
Sure.
Dirk, did you make it in okay?
Yep, I made it here.
Dirk is somebody that, if you don't know him, he's an amazing registrar. More than that, he's an amazing person. But he's the registrar behind the scenes that keeps everything going and keeps us all straight. And I've always said, if you want to screw up a university, mess with the registrar, because they can make your life miserable. But, Dirk is not that kind of registrar. He has it together. I invited him today to talk to you about what he does and some things that are coming. Go ahead, Dirk.
So, Larry asked me to kind of talk about what I do for you guys and what I do for the students. So I thought I'd take you through the students. So my department's involved with the students pretty much from the get-go. We evaluate all the transcripts that come in through my department and recommend for transfer credits and all that stuff, as well as we're the ones that actually take and flip them to enrolled. And then we keep their files, we do their schedules, and answer any questions they have along the way as they go through here. And even with graduation, we graduate them and send them out, their diplomas and and a copy of their transcript for them. So that's kind of what we do for the student in a nutshell. What we do for the instructors is once the PDs and Larry have approved the schedules and who's teaching what classes, I'm actually the ones that input that into Canvas. And then I push the classes from Canvas from Campus View into Canvas and make sure that happens. Unfortunately, there's a little hiccup from there, and that's called the corporate office. They're the ones that have to associate you with your class. So sometimes that takes some time. And that's why you sometimes don't have access to your classes in week 5, which I try to get you your access as soon as I possibly can. And I've been a little busy this week, so it looks like Monday's the day I'm going to push a majority of the classes through to Canvas for this one. Also, I'm the one that pushes the schedule into the faculty portal. I publish it there, and that allows you to push your grades. My most favorite job in the whole time that I do every Monday is verify attendance. It's even though it's automatically posted, I still go through it and check every single class and make sure that it's accurate. Because I want to make sure that we're not getting rid of students we don't have to. So, and even with that, Lydia finds mistakes. So things do happen, but that's what I do. So I'm going to give you guys a little hint right now. If you can't get into your faculty portal, I can't help you. You have to get with our IT department, and they're only available Monday through Friday during office hours, which is kind of sad. But if you can't see your class in the portal, that's my issue. And I do my best to make it so that doesn't happen, although occasionally I forget to publish it, which is crazy. So that's what I do and what my team does. We have a lot of fun with that. And I say that with all honesty. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy solving those scheduling problems and stuff that come along. So, which is fun. Just some exciting news coming our way. Starting with the July term, we're going to push back the end of the term one day to Friday. So we'll end at 11:59 on Friday night in week 5, giving that student that extra day. I think it's going to help our weekend warriors. You all know those students who just come in and don't do anything until Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Gives them that one extra day. I think they'll do a lot better that way. I think we'll see some improvements in some of our students. And with that, it gives you guys some grading a little bit longer to post grades. We're going to go until, I believe, Larry, we decided midnight on Saturday.
Yeah, midnight on Saturday.
Yeah. So, but you guys, I'm going to tell you right now, it's important those grades get published on time, because believe it or not, there is a couple people at the corporate office that love to check to make sure every school has published their grades by Sunday, and they will send Larry a nice little email if it's not done. So with us doing this, I'm not going to be able to check it right away like I normally do, because quite frankly, I have to be in bed by midnight. Otherwise, I turn into the Wicked Witch of the West. So I'm going to rely on you guys to get it done, and hopefully Larry doesn't get that nasty email. So just make sure it gets done.
Yeah, thanks, Dirk. Well, any questions for Dirk? Dirk is, again, a wonderful associate, and he really cares about what we do and doing it well. And so if you have any questions about anything, never hesitate to talk with Dirk. He's there. And
Denny just put a really good question in the chat if Dirk wants to answer it. Is he still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I was just reading it, so.
Go ahead.
Dirk, are you going to answer it?
Yeah, I am. I'm okay. So the biggest thing I can suggest on that is let's make sure that.
Dirk, I can be your backup on that.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's make sure earlier in the week that we're checking to make sure we can get into our portal. Because, yeah, I'm not going to be there to back anyone up for submitting grades this time around. So,
Dirk, I can help you with that.
Okay.
All right.
So that's the biggest thing there.
Well, hopefully we don't have the portal issue, but I guess that's dreaming.
We do have, occasionally we do have some, and I don't know why. We have about 1 or 2, and it varies. It's different instructors every term, but there's 1 or 2 that usually have an issue with the portal. So
even if we have a portal issue, though, nobody can fix it except for tech support, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
Yeah, so I would just
I
check on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to make sure you can get in.
Yeah, and you know, if I were you, I know when I'm teaching, I'm going to try to have my grading pretty much done anyway by Friday night, Saturday morning. I know that it doesn't end, but a lot of students will get stuff done, you know. So we won't see as many extensions at all. In fact, we won't see any at all beyond Friday. So should help. Any questions?
So
I may have missed it. Is there a new time for Saturday to turn the grades in or not?
yeah, it's Saturday in the basically midnight Sunday morning is what it really is. But you know, by the end of the day on Saturday, it needs to be in. So you've got all day Saturday to put it in.
Okay, thank you. That's perfect.
Yeah,
That hasn't changed. That's changed, has it not? It was noon, was it not?
Yeah,
it
right.
was noon, and it will probably. I don't know what we'll do this term, but odds are it'll still be noon.
Okay.
Well, this term it has to be because we didn't move to Friday, but
Yeah.
This is starting from July, the new year, starting from July 2nd term on is when this goes into effect.
So, and I just want everyone to know that I'm very good at distancing myself from my email on the weekends, because if I allow myself to look at my emails, I get consumed and start working harder than I should. And my wife's honey-do list doesn't get done. So if you really need to talk to me on a weekend, text me or or call me on the phone. And I'll gladly help and answer questions that way. But if I get on my email, my wife loses me for the day, and then I get in trouble. So we try to avoid work emails on Saturdays and Sundays.
Well, we don't want you to turn into the Wicked Witch of the West.
Now that's when I get worse than that. I'm just like, okay, I'm done.
Thank you, Dirk, for joining us. Hang with us if you can. Lydia. Now, Lydia is as good as they come, and she's our manager of student services. I think most of you know her, but I wanted her to review with us what she does and talk a little bit about who to contact in what situation. Lydia, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Larry. So what I do for students and instructors, I'm kind of the go-to person for everything outside of the classroom for students. So when a student comes to you and they're homeless, or they have personal issues, or they don't have electricity, or a number of things, come to me, let me know what's going on with the student so that I can help the student locate resources in their area, talk with them about a backup plan. These are all things that you guys can do too, if you're comfortable talking to students about that. But definitely bring it to my attention so that myself or Deidre can work with that student and kind of handhold that student to make sure that there are no issues. A couple of the things that I do for you guys as instructors. Whenever a student comes to you and says, well, hey, my dog died and I need an extension, or, you know, they do have serious reasons for extension, or I was in the hospital, I had a doctor's appointment, or I spent time in the ER, definitely bring that to me, because there are times when we will make exceptions for students and exceptions to the rule as far as the late penalties. You know, our late policy is really flexible to allow students to submit late all the way through the term. But we can waive those late penalties too. So when a student comes to you, definitely get them in touch with me so that we can work together to come up with a solution for them to submit their work, take off late penalties, and most importantly, it comes to me so that I can document it. So if anybody ever questions why we did what we did, I know why, and it's all documented in Campus View, since you guys aren't in Campus View as much as instructors anymore. Same thing for plagiarism. That's a really big one. If you have a student whose similarity score is over the 40%, definitely send that to me and to your program director so that, one, I can look up where they are as far as previous offenses. that lets us know what we need to do moving forward as far as disciplinary action. And then I'll look it up. I talk it over with the PD and, you know, your recommendation as an instructor. And then we talk about what steps are next. Do that before you talk to the student so the student doesn't get confused. You know, you can tell them it's being reviewed for plagiarism, but I wouldn't go any farther than that until we know absolutely for certain where they are in the plagiarism process. If it's a first offense, a second offense, a third offense, something like that. And then I will work with the program directors to get that taken care of. I think that's, I don't want to say that's all that I do, but that's what I do for you guys. And then anything else, if you don't know who handles it, bring it to me. I will work with the student to find a solution, and we'll go from there and work with you guys as instructors to make sure that your students all feel supported and that you guys have what you need to help them be successful.
So you see the connection, student services and academics. An academic question is generally dealt with by the program directors or myself. When it comes to student facing questions, student issues, student, what do I do? That's where you want to grab Lydia and get her involved. She'll keep us all going straight there. Any questions for Lydia? And we just got a message here from Mark. Lydia is awesome. She certainly is. You know, it takes a village to do what we're doing to retain and graduate students, but it takes good leadership, you know, to get us past a certain point. And Lydia, you're certainly a great leader in student services. And more than that, you're just a great, caring professional. So thanks for all that you do.
Oh, thanks.
Tanya, do you want to take a roll call, please?
Sure. If I call your name, please let me know that you're here. Amy Morrison. Brittany Williams. Cassandra McDade. Dan Jones. Meredith Howard, you're here, right? Neil Sawyer. Rick McElroy. Sandy McDonald.
I'm here.
Thank you. Okay, I've got everybody else, Larry.
All righty. Thank you, Tanya. I really appreciate that very much. And we've already given out the AR award, and I'm really grateful again for that. So always try to leave you with a thought. You know, the overall strategy that we have for improving our graduation rate is dealing with confidence building, particularly confidence in self and confidence in the content that you're teaching. And since we have so many first generation students, many of them are not confident in themselves or certainly in going back to college. They know they need to because they want to get a job or get a promotion or enter a particular field. They know that, but they may have failed in the past or they may not. And we've been doing some really good work on the front end in terms of predicting the probability of success. We're actually turning away folks now where what we do is we have the online readiness assessment as well as the cognitive SLE score. And we actually use both of those documents to try to identify as best we can students or applicants that have a good probability or the possibility of being a graduate. And that's one step. You can't really say, I wish admissions had sent us good students anymore. I don't hear that very often now because we raised the cognitive score and because if you have 5 or more risk factors, we get in and try to ascertain whether or not the student can overcome it. And again, we have a large number of first-generation students, and therefore this whole area of relationship building and confidence building is crucial. And our strategy has been to connect you and to try to do our best to make sure that we give prompt quality feedback, because feedback is crucial for first generation students. The kind of feedback they get or just makes or breaks what they do and how they feel about themselves. And, so when you what we're trying to do is mentor or coach students for success. And if you look at coaching books and things, you'll see that the roots of human effectiveness, number one, self-esteem, confidence in worth and abilities. That's a big deal. Self-esteem means generally you're the kind of person that'll pick yourself up and dust yourself off and start over again. If I have low self-esteem, I'm not so naturally inclined to dust myself off and start over again. I just kind of go away from it. And a student who has low self-esteem probably doesn't believe he or she deserves anything better than they already have. Well, first generation students, quite often, even if it's not first generation students, the kind of career college student that we typically see, they more often than not would rate more to the low self-esteem. And so they know they just have this desire to do something better, but they're within themselves are fighting themselves a little bit. And so, we're working with what can we do to build self-esteem. We have to think about that all the time. And that ties back to confidence in self, confidence in the content. They might be confidence in themselves, but if they're in a statistics class, we were talking about that, they might not feel so confident in the content. And so as an instructor, you got to break it down and make it easy and relate to help build confidence. This whole area of self-efficacy refers to an individual's belief in his or her capacity to execute behaviors necessary to produce specific performance. It's a crucial factor in determining what you can be and achieve. If you believe in yourself, it goes to a psychologist by the name of Bandura, who says you can do anything if you believe that you can, and if you want to bad enough, you can do anything. And so again, tying it back to first generation students, anything that we can do to build that confidence is really crucial in retaining and graduating students. That's again why we're coming back continually saying, build a relationship, hold a Zoom virtual meeting if you can. I know we're online and we're 24/7 and we don't always, the whole purpose of online learning is different time zones and different times to go to classes, and that's all good. And maybe the harder part with an online is the fact that whatever we do, we can't just communicate like we are now. We can via Zoom, but you have to communicate in writing, and so you have to really learn how to build that confidence by using good words and right words. And so something to think about. Self-talk, what I tell myself is what I will become. You've heard the old adage, as you think, you become, right? Or I'm trying to remember how it is, but it basically, as you think, whatever you think, you become. And there's really a lot of truth to that. When a student repeatedly tells himself or herself, it determines whatever we tell ourselves we believe our behaviors become that way. Our emotions point that way. And so anything we can do to have the self-talk within the student be more positive, that helps to build confidence. I'll give you an example of that. For years, I taught a finance class, and I may have told you this story before, and if I have, forgive me, but I taught a finance class, and every time I started an online finance class, the first thing that would happen is the students would say, I don't want to do this. They'd actually try to get out of the class, but it was a required class for the degree, so they had to take it. And they'd come into the class just scared to death. And when I gave feedback, I tried to make it simple. I tried to relate it to work. I tried to say, hey, we're not going to make you finance experts. We're just going to give you an overview so you can understand the folks that you'll work around with in work teams. And when I gave them feedback, I tried to give them confidence building feedback. And I remember I discovered when I said, hey, one student was really struggling and she finally did something well. And I said, look at you go, you're turning into a pro. And that light turned on, and by darn, she did incredibly well, because it was, I don't know why it hit her so hard, but it did. And I learned that anything I can do to give the student confidence, so that when they're talking to themselves, and we all talk to ourselves, some of us out loud, some of us internally, that they're talking positive. Yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's okay. I'm not bad. Anything that we can do to change what goes on inside as you talk to yourself inside helps to build, again, that confidence. So to summarize the talk today, the teaching moment, if you will, the share, I want to always try to share something to help us to do better. Remember, we're serving first-generation students. They're on the low self-esteem side, most of them, to begin with. There are some that are not, but most of them are really there. And we've got to do anything we can to help them to believe that they can be a graduate. We got to do anything that we can to help them to want to bad enough, want to go across that stage, want to get the degree so that they can be more successful and have that chance of getting a promotion or a job that they dream about. And so anything we can do to create a relationship that builds confidence in self and confidence in the subject that you're teaching, that just will go miles. And Art will talk to you. We're working on a 212 degree theme, but that 1% that if you work on confidence building statements, if you work on prompt quality feedback that builds confidence in the content, it won't be 73% retention, we'll be 83% retention. I have no doubt about that. And so again, our strategy, build confidence, self and in content. And I can't thank you enough for all that you do. You are the key to their success. You are the secret sauce. It isn't the book. It isn't Canvas. It isn't the computer. It isn't anything. It's what you can do. You can shape. You can mold. You can turn the key that unlocks the door for their success future. And that's one of the great things about being a teacher. I can't tell you how important it is that you do all that you can to help these folks to be successful. It'll make a difference in them, but it'll make a difference in you too. So those are my thoughts for today. Any questions that you might have, anybody? All right, let's move to Dr. Waller. Closing remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Banks. Appreciate your coaching tips. It's been great hearing our leadership speak to you today, people that we highly value. I would just say the same thing I said earlier on our retention call. We've gone 20 months now being below our drop budget, and we are currently at 73.8% trailing 12-month retention, which is the highest for the entire company, including the ground schools. So that's an incredible accomplishment for both faculty and also our student services. So great job. Let's continue our great efforts, making a difference really in the thing that makes the most difference, and that is our students. So I thank you for your care, your infant care with them, and I wish you the rest of a good day. Over to you, Dr. Banks.
Thanks to everybody. Any other questions before we adjourn? I'm grateful that you were here today. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Larry. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Larry.